I'm frustrated today, Doc. I'm just really concerned.
Wait, how did you?
We know the same people. I need your help. I need your guidance. I'm not understanding what's holding me back, and that's frustrating for me.
Well, okay.
Last year was one of my best years ever. And there's only one way I know how to play this game. So when I win consecutively at this game, but yet I still don't reach the top of the mountain, I need to know what's going to push me further. What's that next step for me?
I'm sorry. I'm still trying to get like past the part that you like.
Let's start with the first mountain that I've already conquered, destroyed, defeated. E-commerce. I am e-commerce. I dominate 40% of America's retail.
Yeah, but there's Shopify and eBay.
The closest competitor to me is 7%, and that's Walmart. I'm 40. I'm 40. They couldn't double or even triple up and catch my numbers. But still, I'm moving sideways, and I want to think about how I can assess myself differently in this space. So help me there. I need my offense to be as strong as my defense.
Well, I mean, if we're really being quite frank, your best offense is really not your e-commerce side. It's more so your cloud infrastructure through AWS.
That's true.
I feel like, the e-commerce, really brought you to the party, but I feel like, AWS kind of just made you the life of the party.
Yeah. I mean, AWS is where I put my global stamp for sure. Excuse me. Russell Wilson's texting me about his throwing arm.
Oh.
No, he'll be fine. I'll talk to him later. AWS, they did. That's where we dominate internationally. I understand. And once again, in that market, globally, 32% market share belongs to us. That's still with Microsoft lagging behind and whoever else is behind Microsoft. So once again, I'm having troubles with understanding what's holding me back. If I'm not at the top of my game, how I feel personally.
Okay.
What else can I do to improve? What other spaces? Because now we're talking about the fact that we have the e-commerce. Okay. We're dominating in the American market. Okay. We have 32% of the global market of cloud space. What other spaces do they want me to take up?
I mean, it's kind of tough for you, you're Amazon.
Yeah.
I mean, let's call a spade here. I mean, you make these PR announcements from time to time, and then all of a sudden everybody wants to run, duck, and hide because of the fact that, oh, Amazon's in my space.
Right.
It's kind of like, hey, they built this beautiful sandbox. How come they just don't, build sandcastles within it?
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of changed some things. I mean, you've come a long way from, just selling books. Just, remember that.
I remember those days.
Yeah, those were interesting days,
Tough times.
How is Jeff, by the way?
Jeff is such a visionary. He painted everything so meticulously that we're actually looking forward to just seeing him on the board. Okay. There's a lot of room to grow there, but before Jeff goes, I still want to see those subscriber numbers dominate in our Prime space. It's not enough to be second. We can't lag behind Netflix. We can't let people dominate spaces that we should dominate.
But, I mean, you guys did kind of like host Netflix service and then all of a sudden just turn around and, really recreated a service that's exactly like Netflix.
Yeah.
Called Prime Video.
Yeah.
And...
Well, I pitched the idea to Elon, and then Elon went and did it himself as far as building everything infrastructure-wise. And I feel like we should have everything in our own wheelhouse. So it wasn't enough just to host them, but we had to dominate our own space. That's why we're in talks with MGM. We're looking at even expanding there. and picking up more subscribers from more great content. We have better content than Netflix, arguably, and we can compete with Apple. But we have the 200 million Prime subscribers, then we have the 175 million Video Prime subscribers. So
that's true.
We're in a space that we should be dominating. And once again, I still don't know what's holding me back in those spaces.
HBO Max and Disney also there.
That's fair. That's fair competition. They've been around for a while.
But the thing is like, that's kind of like the beauty of being like the everything store, right? Yeah. I mean, that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really want to like dominate everything? Like where does it all end? Like, is it like where there's like, are we gonna pull an Agent Smith where there's nothing left at all, or everything burns, Joker, or?
I need help.
Okay.
And like I said before, Michael Jordan.
Frustrated at.
We're not winning enough championships. We're winning, but we haven't won enough. What can we do to be better in the spaces and create new spaces?
Okay.
There's new things that are coming up that we should be competing in. But just in the spaces that we're dominating, I want to know how to be number one across the board. Yes, pound for pound, hands down, we're the best. There's nobody on that mountain with us. We get that. Everybody else gets it. The market gets it. But I still want to know how we can be better. Can you be the same animal, but a different beast?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, on that note, you definitely don't lack confidence.
No.
Oh.
We've won too much for that.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. That's fair. Yeah. So I guess the thing is like, because we're hearing that you're going into spaces like gaming.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. And home media, I mean, you guys are already there.
Yeah.
You're now into brick and mortar stores, where that's interesting now because of the fact that once upon a time you guys didn't really believe in brick and mortar, and then all of a sudden it's like you guys bought, Whole Foods, and you guys also started working with Kohl's. I feel like they're going to be another acquisition target sooner or later when they.
Well, you have to adapt with the times. So we have to go into spaces that we see opportunities in.
So we're going backwards.
Is it backwards?
I feel like I'm stuck in a continuum. So
how would you suggest that we move forward?
Okay, so here's what I suggest for you. One of the things that you do so well is the power of iterations. You always make improvements over time. Yeah. So I think that allowed you to be the best. I think that if you stay that same course and stick to the script, then ultimately, I think it's really just a matter of you just having to outlast a lot of these other players. Really, it's not about, outswimming the sharks, it's outswimming the person you're scuba diving with.
Yeah.
So, but, what happens when you are the shark? In this case, maybe a few acquisitions here. You have that deal going on with Rivian also, where they're doing electric. So, hey, kudos to you, ESG, whoop-de-whoop.
Thank you.
I think it's just more so in the sense that you just need to learn how to take the small wins.
On that, would you say, because a large part of what we do is our R&D, and sometimes it brings down our profit, but the R&D is what keeps us ahead of the curve, just like you said.
But you guys haven't really been doing that much R&D lately.
We still put enough in there that if we dialed back on it a little bit more, we would have more profits to expand in different spaces, no?
No, come on now. You used to spend a lot of money when it came to, let's not forget about before 2014. No profits, everything just completely reinvested back into the company. And then all of a sudden it's just like, a person putting on a pair of, Jordans for the first time in life is just different.
Right.
So I think that, for you, it's kind of different now. You've tasted your first ever profit, and, you really never look back to like, oh, well, we're not profitable.
True.
You are so profitable. And on top of that, it's like, you also give so much value to your employees by just loading them up with stock. I don't know how you get past this whole tax issue, but that's a whole nother story.
It is. We know the same people.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'm gonna need to make a call to S&P.
Yeah.
We definitely need to boost up this percentage weighting. You know, that's somewhat a little bit laughable that you're not up there with Microsoft and Apple. I know.
The forces that be.
I mean, well, it's like, you know, your people, you know, you're ready, and my people, you know, just give us some time.
So you think we're in a good place to continue the expansion?
I think you are. Okay. I think that you are. I think it's just more so in the sense that you got to go back a little bit more into formula. And I think that you're doing that now with acquisitions.
Yeah.
Acquisitions, mergers. I mean, you did NFL. I think it's Thursday Night Football. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
I feel like this is more so in the sense that I'm just like patting you on the back and you're just sitting there just enjoying it. But, but, oh, you have a laugh. All right. So, I think it's just, you know, take the small wins.
Okay.
So the small wins for you are going to look like, moving forward, since we're dealing with the law of large numbers,
Right.
Acquisitions. So you see one of the other competitors that you talk about, which is, you know, headed towards a $3 trillion company, Apple. They're getting ready to, you know, are they building their own car or not? I mean, you guys invested, you know, almost $1 billion into, you know, a company called Rivian. Are you guys going to acquire that or not? Because, you know, Jeff is driving the truck before everybody else.
If we let them build out their network, see if they can compete in that space, I think we'll have a much better idea at what they're doing. And it also helps with what we want to do with artificial intelligence moving into the future. So
Wow.
The goal has always been to go into fields where we know our lane and we dominate that lane. Like
Okay.
that's what I am. That's what I do. We have to dominate.
So we're talking about partnerships, where in partnerships you team up with another company and
No, acquisitions is our space. And it's only because sometimes those companies lack the vision that we're going to bring to the table.
Okay.
And if they lack the vision and don't know the path, it's only right that we take what they have and make it better. That's what we're here for. Everything that we touch, we do make gold. Now, that's not our fault that we're great, but it's not their fault that they're bad. But when we help them become great by letting us show them our vision, it's a win-win.
That's fair. I mean, you guys did acquire Zoox, you know, for, you know, half of its value. How did you do that, by the way?
Secrets are meant to stay inside the company.
Like you said, we know the same people, so
That's
I'll find
true.
out.
All right. All right.
So, domination, we get that. You're on this goal of world domination. But what about the customers?
You know, that's who we're built by and that's what we're here for. I think at this point, it may just be about stability. Our e-commerce platform shows that we can retain it. Our AWS platform shows that we can retain stability. We have to look at the long run. You know, there's a difference between being a regular business and building something that has immortality.
Okay.
And I think when you're looking at immortality, you're searching for stability. Okay. And I think that's where my trouble is. Often my ambition gets in the way of the stability.
Okay.
And I think that I want to dial it back to make sure that we can do this on a long run, long haul. Because there's going to be somebody else that tries to come and take a piece of our pie.
Well, yeah, there's Shopify, there's, you know, Microsoft, which is...
And while we're okay with giving up slices, but we don't want to give up halves, and we definitely don't want to give up the whole pie. So I think it's just looking at it and saying, at this point, have we done enough to just maximize our stability and let our growth grow naturally? We don't have to attack everything.
Good. See? Progress.
Yeah.
So I guess, you know, let's point out the, you know, $1 trillion elephant in the room.
1.6.
Oh, okay. Well, we're being specific.
You know, there's some change left on the table. We got to get all our change.
Okay. Well, we're about to talk about change.
All right.
So let's talk about also, you know, monopoly. Because when you talk about domination and everything else, we start talking about, you know, the realm of, hey, you know, you're kind of a monopoly. What about the other guys? Because, you did kind of, you did some shady stuff. Like, for example, doing the part where the shoe company and then you coming out and creating a shoe that's pretty much similar. Like, that's, I'm the market, and to me, that's a little cold.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's like, some of the other things, like, I mean, you're dominating in the e-commerce space, and then you buy Whole Foods. You didn't think that wasn't going to raise a few eyebrows either. And then there's this thing with, the Senate, where it's possibly where you could be seen as antitrust, anti-competition. I mean, you did kind of like just speak about that in this entire conversation. True. You may want to kind of dial that back a little bit.
Is it our ambition? I think that's what it is. Because you know what? I came in here and I asked.
I think that's monopoly.
Is it monopoly? If they decided to break us up, which they won't, but if they decide to break us up, each of those segments holds its own. Once again, it goes back to that vision that I was telling you about. We have a certain vision that others just don't have, but I think our ambition is holding us back. If we could learn to play fair with others, we could try.
Yeah, I think you're going to definitely have to do more than try. Because what would that look like? Amazon broken up into like 4 different companies. Are you really Amazon anymore?
No, we're not. We're definitely a different monster at that point.
I know, because I mean, if you don't have AWS's, save you, then
yeah, it's really hard to look at a profit the same way.
It is very much so. And then you give it up to Microsoft and other players.
So are you suggesting scaling back on the ambitious activity, more partnerships, streamlining, playing fair, playing ball with everybody?
Yeah, you got to kind of tone back the Death Star a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit. I know that Google doesn't take their own advice anymore, but maybe you should just like follow along and, don't be evil. Just dial that back a little bit. But, I mean, for the most part, there's nothing wrong with competition.
Right.
Competition creates a great marketplace for everybody.
Right.
You just got to learn how to play nice with everybody else, including some of the little, people on the playground as well.
Well, here's a good question for you. If we did break it up, should we do it something like what we're watching Elon do? Like, he has Tesla, but then there are companies like the Boring Company that nobody's talking about. There's Starlink that, a couple people are talking about.
But he did also say that he's going to probably put them under one conglomerate, kind of like Google.
And now, are you okay with him doing that? Because that's what we're doing. He's taking our model. Is that not our model?
Yeah, it's kind of, but it's a little toned back a little bit. Not like, okay, hey, I need to dominate everybody else, but more so in the sense that I need to save the world.
So we just blatantly said we were the best, and he gets to covertly do it, and that makes it okay?
I mean, it's kind of like in the sense of how is it that you do it. It's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it.
Okay.
Like I said, there's nothing wrong with competition. There's nothing wrong with building a conglomerate. But when that conglomerate starts to knock out some of the little players that you bring to, like, think about it like this. You're hosting a party, Amazon.
Right.
And you tell everybody to bring punch, chips, and everything else.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, they bring them, and then you're like, I think I could make some better chips. And then all of a sudden, you go in the back and then bring your own chips. How is that supposed to make one of your guests feel?
No, I see where you're coming from. That wouldn't make them feel good, or as if I appreciated their service.
You see?
Yeah. Okay. So scale back the ambition.
I'm not saying scale back the ambition. I'm just saying, be ambitious, but also at the same token, respect the fact that there are little players that are around you and just play nice.
And that'll allow us to go forward in an even better trajectory.
I agree 100%. I think that, honestly, no issues, none whatsoever. Do you need to take the call?
No, that's Elon. I'll give him a call later.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, you were just talking about Elon, so I wonder how that's going to work out.
Okay. Look, Doctor.
Are you guys still, is your founder and
it's a
their founder still
thing.
beefing
No.
about the rockets, who can get it up or not?
It's a hard subject to talk about. I mean, we do like what he's doing, and it's very impressive. Making the rocket land itself, that definitely has some of our engineers not getting any sleep. So kudos to them for now, but we are who we are, so we will catch up.
Okay.
But we will catch up as well. I appreciate your time, Doc. I've got to go grab a flight. Thank you for taking me last second.
Yeah. Next time, call S&P. You know, we can definitely get things on the book. I'll see you next quarter.
Next quarter it is, sir.
Okay. Are you sure this time? You know, we're not going to just pop up like a vampire.
Let's check in after earnings.
Okay. All right. Well, all right.
See you later, Doc.
See ya. Well, you never know who's going to pop up into the office. See you in the next one.